Alright, welcome back to my channel once again. Today I want us to look at a critical issue that most times students find it difficult to operate with. Now what I want us to look at today is the difference or the similarity between PEMDAS, BODMAS, BIDMAS, these three things. One, they are the same thing. And of course, 1, 2, 3 are generally referred to as order of operation. Order of operation. So what we have today is the order of operation. If you are given any mathematical concept, now the answer you get depends on the order of operation that you take. But before then, let us look at what PEMDAS, BODMAS, BIDMAS all about. Now for PEMDAS, PEMDAS means parenthesis. P stands for parenthesis. Parenthesis. And of course, when we talk of parenthesis, we all know what parenthesis means. E. E here stands for exponents. Stands for exponents. M stands for multiplication. Multiplication, of course, multiplication is designated as times. While D stands for division. D is for division. Then A is for addition. A is for addition, which is plus. Now S stands for what? Subtraction, which is minus. Now if we now go to BODMAS, most people don't even know the full meaning of BODMAS. Now, BODMAS, this B means brackets, O means order, O means order. Now, by this order, we mean, either we'll call it exponent or raised to power, they mean the same thing. Either you call it exponent, order, raised to power, they mean the same thing. Now, D stands for division, A stands for addition, so M stands for multiplication, A stands for addition, and then S stands for subtraction. The same with this. The only difference between PEMDAS, BODMAS, and the BIDMAS is just these first two. These first two. Some, of course, we know that this, for BIDMAS, this is bracket, while for I means index. I means index. So either you have it as exponential function, or you have it as order, which is exponent function, or you have it as the index. So they can be used interchangeably. They are the same thing depending on the operation you are taking. The only difference is that I is the same thing as E and is the same thing as O. While P and B, they mean the same thing. P, parenthesis, bracket, whatever. Now, most time the answer you get is dependent on the order of operation you take. For example, if we have 4 plus, maybe in brackets, we have 4 plus 2 times 5. If you take two different operations, you will get different answers. For example, assuming we now say 4 plus 2 multiplied by 5, which will give us 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 times 5, it will give us 30, right? So this one is the first one. Now the second one we'll now take is, assuming we now take these two together. If we take these two together, it will now give us 2 times 5. Or before that, we'll now say 4 plus, we'll now take these two together, which is 2 times 5 is 10. Now 10 plus 4 will give us 14. So we are getting two different answers. If we take this 2 times 5 is 10 plus this is 14. Now if we say 4 plus 2, which will give us 6, 6 times 5 will give us 30. We have two different answers. How do we know which order to take? Now the order to take, they will now tell us that apart from these two, the other 4, which is M, D, A, and S, if you are multiplying if you are adding, if you are multiplying, if you are dividing, if you are adding, and if you are subtracting, take left to right. Take left to right order. Left to right order. Left to right order. That is the order to take. If you are doing multiplication, if you are doing division, addition, subtraction, left to right in this order. So because of that, we take these two. And now remember these rules that says parenthesis. Parenthesis is we have the parenthesis or the brackets for these two. Parenthesis or the bracket. Now we see they are in bracket. The next one we'll now take is look for exponent. Now, if we are to solve this problem again, let us see between these two which is the correct thing, the correct order to take. Now, they said, well, we have this as a bracket. We look for exponent. There is no exponent. There is no exponent here. There is no index here. Now we now go for multiplication. So going for multiplication means that we will take this one. That is the order we must take. Take this. If we take this, it will now give us 2 times 5. And of course, 2 times 5 is 10. Now, D means division. There is no division here. The next one that will follow is addition. So since we have taken these two, we now add. Therefore, this is the correct answer for this. Now, let us take a second example. Can we solve this problem? Now, this problem says simplify 2 squared plus 3 times 4 all squared. Now, what we now do is we apply the same rule, the PEMDAS or the BODMAS. Now, remember, either the PEMDAS, which is the parenthesis, or we're using BODMAS, which is bracket. They said treat the values in bracket first before you now look at the exponent or the order or the index. So treating the value inside the bracket, we now have 2 squared plus 3 times 4. Now all squared. Now having taken the bracket, the first thing we'll now take is the order. Now the order is this one, or the index, or the exponent, which will now give us 2 squared. This is the only one that has exponential function here. 2 squared is 4 plus 3 times 4. Now, having taken this step, the next step we have dealt with the exponent. Now we now look for multiplication. If there is a multiplication, we now have multiplication. Now for multiplication, we have this one, 4 plus 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Remember, we still have our square sign here. Now, having looked at the BODMAS, the D, we have done with the brackets, the index number, the division sign. There is no division sign here. We look at the multiplication. We are done with the multiplication sign. Now the next one now is the addition. Now addition, 4 plus 12 will give us what? 16. Now there is no subtraction. The result of everything in bracket is 16. Now we take the square sign. 16 squared will now give us 16 times 16, which will give us 256. 16 squared will give us 256, and which is 256. 256. The answer here is 256. Alright, we solve this problem. Now, this problem says simplify 2 squared plus 3 times 4 squared divided by 4 plus 2 times 5, everything times 2. Now, if you look at this, you might be tempted to use a wrong order. Now, all we need to do is take a look at BIDMAS, BODMAS. Of course, either parentheses or BODMAS, remember we said they mean the same thing. Now, these are two brackets. Decide on which one to take first. Of course, we take this one first, deal with values in bracket first, deal with this value, and then from there, you do your multiplication. Now, we have, for this bracket here, we check the parentheses or the BODMAS, which will now give us 2 squared is 4. 2 squared is 4 plus 3 times 4. Everything raised to power 2. We are dealing with everything in the brackets. Now, having looked at the brackets, there is no order, there is no exponent inside this bracket. There is no division inside this bracket. We now move straight to multiplication. If we multiply 3 times, it will now give us 3 times 4, which will give us, we will bring this 4 plus 12. Now, addition, you add these two. Remember, there is square there. When we add these two, 4 plus 12 will give us 16. We'll have 16 all squared. We are done with everything in bracket here. Now, we cannot, remember at this point, we drop this one. 4 plus 2 times 5. Everything is multiplied by 2. We did not operate anything here. 4 plus 2 times 5 times 2. Now, at this point now, we are done with this. Let us now focus on this bracket. We just brought this bracket down. At this point now, we will leave this one here. Or if you like, you can take 16 square. 16 square here is 256 divided by. Now, we can now concentrate on this bracket. And then we'll now go back again. Brackets, what is what we have. There is no exponent inside this bracket. There is no division. There is multiplication. 2 times 5, which is 10, plus, we have addition here, 4. There is no subtraction. Now, multiply by, we are done with everything here. We can say times 2. Now, we have this side, we have this side. Let us finish this one. If we finish this one, we now have 256 divided by, let me write here. 256 divided by, we have these values here. 4 plus 10, which will give us what? 14. Now we can now come out here. Times 2. Now, how do we navigate here now? Since we have this, we have this, we have this. If you are doing, remember what we said, if you are from division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction, we take the left hand rule. So we now have 256 now divided. So since we have this already, we'll take this one first because this is on this side. 14 times 2, which will give us 28. So divided by 28. At this point, we now have 256 divided by 28 now. The question we'll ask ourselves is, how many 28s are here? And of course, there are 9 28s here. So we now have 28 divided by this will now give you 252. Of course, 252 will give you 9. So which will now give us a 9 whole number. Remember, this is 252. 28 times 9 will give you 252. And of course, 252 minus 256 minus 252 will give us 4. That means this divided by this will give us 9 whole number, 4 over 28. So this is our final answer. All right. Now we have this question on the board. Simplify 4 squared minus 6 times 2 divided by 4 divided by 2 times 8. 2 times 4 plus 7. Now, how do we do this? Now, if we want to operate on this, we have, okay, now this is plus here, this is plus. Now, if we have this, we'll now have, as usual, BODMAS deal with the ones in brackets first. This one's in bracket, this one's in brackets, and then this one is outside the bracket. So the bracket, we can pick any of the brackets, or we can carry the two brackets at the same time. But be mindful of how you're going to do your calculation. So since we'll take BODMAS bracket, and inside the bracket you take the order. So see, this is what we're taking. The order or the exponent or the index number there is 4 squared. So 4 squared is 16 minus 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. We are done with what is in this bracket. Divided by, we can bring these brackets. Remember, if you take these brackets, what you will now do is you take this order. And this order says there is no, inside this bracket, there is no order, there is no division here, there is multiplication. So take multiplication first. So inside this bracket, we have 4 plus, the one that has multiplication is this, 2 times 4, which will give us 8 plus 7. Having done with what we have on this bracket, we now have here, if you are subtracting or dividing or adding, you will take the, remember the left hand order, left to right, please, left to right. Now we now have 16 minus 12 will give us 4 here, divided by this plus this will give us 12. Now have 12 on this side plus 7 plus 7. Now since we have this, we now deal with this one first before coming to this one. 4 divided by 12 plus 7 will give us 19. Therefore, the answer is 4 over, okay, we have, therefore, our answer is 4 divided by 19. And of course, we cannot reduce it anymore. So, this is our final answer. Now, if you really understood what we have there, please help me solve this. Help me solve this one that says 3 plus 18 divided by 6 minus 18 divided by 6, everything all squared. Alright, so help me simplify this and then put the answer in the comment section. Please don't forget to like this page, share this video, and then follow for more. Thank you very much.